And as you can see, our page is very, very beautiful and isn't quite finished. We had some technical difficulties getting the front and back end knitted together, but we did get the front end all looking nice, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you guys a little bit of the code that we had for the back end so you guys understand a little bit of what we were doing. So, I'm not going to go in depth with this because there's a lot here. So I am going to show, we did do a lot of planning on exactly what we were going to do and how we were going to do it, and that was
all thanks to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, can she walk us through?
Sure, by all means. There's a lot to it.
Can we get names too, please?
Yes. James, I was on front end.
Luis.
Tyrese.
I'm Rebecca. I worked on the back end.
Spencer.
Nice.
Stephanie.
Very cool.
So, comments.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you, Spencer, for having my back. So, this is what we planned on doing. So, part of it said we get points for showing our design, and this is part of the design and the design process. So, the plan was the top here is pretty much what the website would look like. The bottom is how we would accomplish that. So, the idea, and then things change later on, as you can see. But the idea was to show featured users right here. So we have 3 of them, just like you have 3 of them. So some things did actually come, all the way through.
What is a featured user?
That's what I'm saying. And so the other thing was going to be now we have their information. So you have their top languages, the list of technologies, all the things that are static that can stay there. Everything else would be in this user stats area where we would have the graphs and we would have a dashboard of graphs. And so you would be able to click. It will also be able to pick from the users, and there will be a drop down so you'll be able to see whatever the different graphs are. So some of the different graphs we started to show on the other side of here, but the idea is that for whatever graphs that you needed, rather than taking up more real estate on the page, it would be more dynamic and you would have it all right here. How to accomplish that is, I got you. Then, as far as the architecture behind that, right? So what would happen is that, so we have our GH, or the GitHub API, which feeds into the MongoDB, and then what we're going to do, instead of going through D3 and the issue, because this is the issue with the D3 and those different types of things, is that when it comes to updating data and having multiple different data sources, having D3 there is not the best way to do that. The best way to do that and the most flexible way to do that is to use some type of business intelligence software that already exists. So, in order to do that, so we're going to use Tableau, which is actually what was used to create that graph, so it's not like nothing got done. Use that, and then in the Tableau graph, also going to have the top 3 languages, have some other drop downs, have the counts of the different people and different things like that. It says embed because we embed it into the sheet, into the website, which is exactly what happened. So,
Thank you, Seth.
that's the plan.
Very cool.
So
a lot of planning went in.
Correct. A lot of planning went
Oh yeah,
into this.
Bootstrap JS, which is exactly what
we use
created
Bootstrap as our library, CSS library, and what we did in the front end, a mock-up of our idea is we have here a input box where we would put our GitHub username. Once we would search for the username, we had an operation. If it found a username, then it will show you every username that is similar to that. If not, it would display some type of error. We also have a featured users, top 3 users that are mostly
The most recent users, the top 3 most recent visited users.
correct. Then we would have a graph of the commits in 2019.
And that was supposed to be the graph dashboard where you could go and pan through the different graphs that were available for each specific user.
So what is the graph pulling the data from?
So this is just
the graph was supposed to be pulling data from the database, which was getting the information from the API.
Yeah, so what it
What
would
is
do,
this
so
graph?
essentially.
Just a
This
stock-
graph is just a mock-up.
Okay, so it's not
No,
actually.
this is not real.
It's a
placeholder.
This was a placeholder to show what's supposed to go there.
They thought it was real so far. It was really created in Tableau. It's real data. It's just somebody
And
else's.
then
We also
because
have-
it's
we also
beautiful
had a
graph, it's like,
mock-up- we
wait,
also
so
had a mock-up
is it just
of,
that the user information's not displaying, or?
Yes.
No.
See, that's what I'm saying.
So
That's
it's just not
also
connected to the back end, that's all.
Yeah, that's
But the
what I was-
front end is
that's
all
what I was
designed and
wondering.
planned, yeah.
And I'm saying, but that really, this really happened. That really happened. That's really Tableau right there.
Yeah, that actually is generated from data in Tableau, but we couldn't,
It's
we
just not-
couldn't connect
it's
it, we
local
didn't have a
data,
chance
it's
to
not
actually
data
display.
pulled.
It's just not live.
Yeah, it's not live.
Yeah, we also did a mock-up of the typical user. Although GitHub was not intelligent enough to update, so my joke just got killed. So never mind. God, this software. Okay, whatever. Oh wait. Are we on Slack? It's on
Okay.
Slack?
That's, you know, we're so prepared.
We're very prepared. We talked about this a lot.
The presentation has character, that's all it
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
Characters with characters.
That's why I said we should have music. But-
There you go. The typical GitHub top 3 users right there. Original art.
Copyright infringement.
And then
That's
when you
very
select the
good.
user up at the top,
2.0.
and when you select the user up at the top, it would show the six repos for them. It would be the repo, the name of the repo, the main language used in it, a list of tech items, and then the activity stream at the bottom is actually a scroll box. So once it has enough data, you can scroll through it instead of it just being that little snippet of data there.
Just like you would see like a Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh, I got
feed,
these.
same thing.
So now, to explain a little bit about the backend.
So, yeah, we'll have our back-end users explain, what they were doing on the back end.
Alright, so yeah, to get the data, we use Octonode library. It's pretty simple to use. You just pass in the endpoints here and just use a callback to get the data. And then what we also did was we started working on creating the mongoose stuff in here. And we was gonna add the users and stuff using that data from there. That's pretty much.
So that if you search for a person, that the data does come up.
We need our computer to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna connect and show that.
Just for HTML.
Yeah.
There should be an HTML on the site.
Do we have one
Okay.
for?
For USB-C?
I've seen
Which one?
Oh.
Which one you need?
HDMI to
HDMI to
USB-C.
USB-C.
Oh
For
no.
the new man.
We're not advanced.
But the point is that we got to the point where if you were to search for someone's GitHub username, all of their information would show up.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
we did have the information, it was just getting
Yeah.
knit together that
That's where we got
that
it.
we fell apart.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful.
Things were existing together.
Yeah, it's really not too bad. I'm sure a lot of you guys found out you did it in the console. It's just parsing that data and something you can do with the website. It actually wouldn't have been so bad, just that we were using that Mongo event. We were trying to put it in the database, and I think that was really the way to go. It's just that I don't know. It took a little bit more preparation now.
Mongo database.
So, and we flew too close to the sun. I hear your mumbles.
What are you gonna show?
Are you guys looking for another branch or?
That's another thing entirely, that's Octonode, it's not ours. Quit showing things that aren't ours. It looks better than us. Makes us look bad.
Are you trying to get to show that? Okay.
Yeah.
It's fine, okay.
So, but we did have more, we just can't show it because we don't have the
Well, I
right.
really like that you guys planned the design. It's a lot of work that went
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
So honestly, the back end is, in my opinion, the easy part. It's the
Well.
planning, no, it is. But the planning that went into this and how you guys are working connected to the front end, that's wonderful.
Fortunately, I have someone who's
Yeah.
here to plan Tableau.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
cool.
this is the back end.
Yeah, there's a back button.
Good thing that's easy.
See, Andy, you could have done this, but you didn't, so don't say anything. Nothing. That's exactly what you did,
Yo,
nothing.
you're talking before you see yours, bro. Chanel, man.
Yeah, so in the back end that didn't get implemented, so we would be able to get a GitHub username. And if we couldn't find it in our database, then what we would do is we would actually retrieve the information from the GitHub API.
Okay.
And then
That's
we would
fine.
get to a point where we could actually get all the data we needed for our model and then insert that into the database and then output that information.
And that works.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, right, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just message me on Slack if you guys need anything. You guys don't want to roll the tape? What happened?
This is the back end issue, so we're walking out, bro.
Sit down.
Oh, it's on up?
Take off.
You're gonna leave?
Well, no, it's not. DC, I am guinea pigging more or less.
Borough is?
I want to make it.
I thought you were gonna do it.
Like, just super sampled my monitor. Uh-oh. I broke it.
I need more time to build all the scratch.
There's only Windows friendly.
Because I
There you go.
Okay, so
for all the
my
data.
team consisted of Jake, April, and Michael. He handled the data graphs. She helped with the search function, or she did the search functionality. He did design and created our 404 page, and I pulled data from the API. So when you click in a name, it's not styled at all, by the way. It shows your profile picture, your name, your followers. Shout out to Harlem North. Your repos, as well as you can click and it'll take you on to your repos, as well as data of your top 3 languages. And I believe,
Right,
can you
so-
explain on,
yeah,
can you
so-
explain on the data?
Can you zoom it all?
Yeah.
Go to the bottom somewhere and zoom in. There we go.
There we go.
That's better. Okay.
Oh, God, you know what I would have thought of.
Okay, so this is for Jake right here. So we have a graph up here of his total number of records. Number of repos for this year. His top 3 languages. I showed him one earlier that had mostly HTML and JavaScript. It says that's not my repo. I should have C# in there. And then we got a breakdown of the number of repos with the different languages there.
Very cool.
As well as, can't really see. If it doesn't find the user, it'll post. It'll show a 404 page. That's pretty cool. That he designed. and yeah, that was our app.
So, who created the, I guess in some, like they've got word clouds and stuff, who did the graph? Who did the graph?
The
Mike
mobile.
Yeah.
Who?
I did.
Michael did.
Yeah.
Okay. Was that, did you make that from scratch, or did you pull that
That's from Tableau.
from Tableau?
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yep. I heard someone else say Tableau. I'm like,
That's how you
Can you hear me, Saul?
And he had his hand raised.
Yeah. So you guys actually got this working with like users, so like you can type in my username, my stuff will show up.
Right.
Why you gotta test him like that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, never mind. Ignore my question, bro. No, wait. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, give me that.
So you put like Andy Mendes 100.
It'll
I'm
show
confident it'll work. I'm confident it'll work.
Andy Mendes
Yeah,
100.
exactly.
It'll show your name.
That worked.
The graph will regenerate them.
This is like your top.
No, it's showing his followers profile.
I thought that was his actual
No, it's cool actually, because it shows. I like that.
Yeah, that's
Props.
cool.
I like that.
Thank you.
That's really good that you're able to pull up the followers' profiles too.
Yeah.
That's a really.
It was like an Axios within an Axios within an Axios.
I'm just saying that's a really clever manipulation of the API. Props, man.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah,
everybody's
great.
laughing, but that's really clever.
We're laughing because
I know.
We're laughing.
Does it actually, if you scroll down for the graph, does it show his graph data? If you scroll down, does it show his graph data too, or no?
Not right now. We weren't able to figure that
Okay.
out. We do have a plugin, but we weren't able to configure it.
Yeah, we had the same problem.
You can't get the
you guys
graph
are smart about it. You didn't scroll
Good
down.
job.
You can't get the graph
Thanks for that.
No, not right now.
No.
The API has like several thousand lines of code.
Yeah.
When we put it in, it was just a big line and we couldn't get it, we didn't have time
Yeah,
to go in
it's
and get the
not.
formatting and.
You have to write a really nice script to parse it because the data is
Yeah.
not clearly.
Okay, but I just want to see if you do the one thing you used to do. Can you type my username, SJT,
SJT.
1988? I don't think that's 88.
Okay.
He just wants to know it's there.
Original artwork.
Alright.
So,
Any other questions? Any other questions?
Can we do the background code?
API.github.com.
What did you guys write it in?
React.
We use React.
And hooks.
React?
Thank you.
But they wrote with them because what we did before was for putting them.
They did.
Who still wants to go
Yeah,
next?
you're right.
Now, I need you guys to understand the following, right? So it was 4 hours, right? So from this, you can build on that, right? Heads. Yes. Okay, perfect. So are we still going, or did you really get scared?
Did you want to go? Ah, scared?
Notice the keyword right there.
I like that voice, bro.
You're not gonna go?
Why are you running?
You're not getting up?
You
guys show your face around there too.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Does it make an image?
We're supposed to have.
Andy, you look like you're stalling.
Yes.
Are you in slow motion right now?
We had a problem embedding our code. Well,
Did we test this? I guess we'll do the
Tableau
So-
has a public site where you can click on the TV and embed.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Can you give me the rest? Is that David?
Yeah.
I use Power BI for my.
Alright, we'll do a little interaction. interactive activity with everyone.
We never had anything like Power BI.
Because you're not part of their team. She was just shopping.
And then the
She wanted to show me.
Cool.
She said that you weren't shopping.
My friends, my exam of like calculated fields on my OneNote.
She does?
And you're, and it's like, I can't
She got she don't feel
Yeah,
that.
no. It's hard to say.
There's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of things you can do with it, but I had 14 minutes. I'm as good as sitting at right now.
That's why I just wrote
I started using it
It looked like some magic.
Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? That just happened.
It was either Power BI or like Excel charts and stuff like that.
All right, guys. So yeah, this is our application. We focus, I would say, on the Andy. on the hold up.
Wait, what's your group name?
Ours is Trader Joe's Pizza is expensive. We had an argument over Trader Joe's Pizza a little while ago. The only one that thinks it's cheap. Everyone else thinks it's expensive. Show of hands, like how many people think Trader Joe's Pizza is expensive?
It is expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Continue. So this is our application. The lofty ideas that we had were to build a very nice front end that would collect all of it in this nice looking theme. It's built in React. And then the back end be to have both serve the front end and also have a third-party API that anybody can sign on to and get GitHub information.
What language is that?
This is React. I mean, this is just Java. This is just front end HTML, CSS, and JS. But like,
talking about the lower
Lorem Ipsum. Yeah, Lorem Ipsum is like a filler language. It doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
It does mean something.
Does it mean something?
It does. Lorem Ipsum is from a medieval Latin manuscript.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's presentation. No. All right. So what you can do? You can go. Well, let's not see that yet. You can register. What's that? I don't think this will break it. Let's see. Yeah. I already have one. Oh, well then they can see our error handling. Judges. And then try catch. Oh, email's already in the system. All right, let's do someone else. We'll do an example of that example now.
Wait. This is someone, actually, this is like John. Do a@a.com.
Well, is it, I don't think, is this actually going to connect to anything here? So I don't think it.
Okay. Nice try, Andy.
Yeah, no, let's not force us down a path. Joan, what's your GitHub?
That's a trick question. Do I need to answer that?
No, I can just use one.
No, it's just my first name.
His first name?
Can you spell it?
It's like J.
It's 100 points.
Oh,
now you know how to spell it, yeah. Oh, yeah.
100 points. Credit count? Alright, then it takes us to. That's fine. That's fine. David's there to welcome you to the page. Yeah. But where's the database? Do you have a compass over there? Oh, yeah.
Good, do you want to type it out?
Yeah, open up.
It's like those virtual assistants.
I
see you're new here.
Just, yeah. No, yeah, example. There we are. Alright, so saved in the database. What's that?
Would you use the database?
MongoDB.
Oh.
So saves in the database, passwords are hashed. Standard security practices. But our database, like, show them saved, it connects, if you use the API, it will connect a user in the database with the information coming back from GitHub, which I believe I saw right here, and save it in the database.
Talking about this, the repos?
Yeah. Here, so so we have persistent data from GitHub saved in the database, and we can make an API call for that using Postman. You want to fire a Postman, or you want to just?
It's like around.
Oh yeah, so we got it working through its user, or you can send the email.
Yeah.
Plus 10, plus 10.
Plus 25, maybe.
So this is using the email. You can see, you get
Yeah.
all the information back.
Oh, okay. So you guys built, okay. I get
So a
it.
nice and easy API.
Nice easy API.
I thought you were querying GitHub directly. I'm like, why are they doing that?
No, that's querying our database.
Okay.
Check mark.
All right. I wouldn't get. That's all we have.
I don't want to discourage you.
Yeah. Yeah. So it does it via user or through email, right?
Yeah.
And then we do have a front end that that works a little bit. What can we do with the front end? Can we put in a? Oh yeah. Now this isn't pulling from the database, but that's one API call away.
What is it pulling from?
That's from the GitHub API.
Yeah, it's directly from the GitHub API.
Okay. And then bio.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, it's now.
The name, and this is the profile.
Yeah, I think they say there's like 3 things. And
I told you to go for the easy ones, guys. Come on.
Prepare to be amazed with this chart.
It looks
exactly right.
Yeah, that's how we drew it up.
Is that a mock-up?
Yeah.
Is that an image or is that a?
No,
Is that a
that's
chart or a
from
graph?
that's from what's that?
Is that a chart or a graph?
That is a.
Why can't it be both?
Actually, it could be both, technically.
Great Inquisitor here.
Well, it said we had to have a chart and a graph.
So there is code for that. That is a React chart package called Victory. The weird thing is I work in D3 all day long, but decided not to do D3 because I thought that like we only had I didn't think like we could build something from scratch that would really look impressive. So we would let that go a little bit too long, and then tried to put together some React chart library. But it is functional, and it is a real chart, except for the fact that it's not pulling from any actual backend data.
So is that Andy's data, or if you put like someone else's name, will it show their data?
That's no, it's not pulling from anything. It is React. It is generating the chart based on a JavaScript array of objects.
So this isn't necessarily
mock data.
So it's not coming from any user.
Well, yeah, it's my user data over the last like year or something like that.
Okay, so if you type in someone else's name, you get their data.
No.
No.
It's just mock data.
Yeah, just mock data. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just hard coded data just for the. But it's not an image. That's all I'm trying to say. It's actually a.
It's rendering off of.
It's rendering off the npm chart package. Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Andy?
Yeah.
Tony, you want to add anything?
Yeah, it was a good project.
Is there anything else to
That's it. We're done.
We're done.
Wrap it up. Go play ping pong.
Maybe wants to play ping pong?
Hey, how do you delete repositories?
Anyone else?
Yes.
Awesome.
We can't do that right now.
I need a break.
Okay, sorry, we gotta get started. It stopped for a second. That is attached together.
Okay, I just was.
You got this, Scott.
Yeah, hollow plastic, so I did hit my head.
You remember your name and all of that?
I
Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it.
What do you use?
Thanks, bro.
What do you need me for that?
Just go out and eat food.
We go to like the different festivals. They just had the Belizean festival last weekend, I think. Belizean festival? Or Rocky
Same group next
Oh, Belize. What do you find? Where do you find these festivals?
They're in LA mostly. You can just search for them.
Yep, there it goes.
And your group name?
We call ourselves Team Null Void.
There we are. Okay, so. All right, well, I'm Robin.
And I'm Julian.
Scott.
Catherine. Okay, and we didn't get very far with this one. We were able to connect with the API and obviously get some info. We were going to do like a search box on the front where you could enter the person's name, but we had one really annoying bug that we couldn't quite figure out with that. So this is all we got right now. But we did manage to grab some profile data through the GitHub API. This one's also in React. Just the basic profile stuff. We did get a chance to get to the graphs. But let's see. We did manage, so at least if we put in a different name.
Yeah, we can put in a different user ID name, and once we do that, try and refresh.
So it does there.
And let's try Scotty next.
So we can at least pull the info out.
Anyone want to give us any of their usernames so we can see if we can pull yours up?
SJT 1988.
Of course, Spence wanted to try it.
88?
Yes.
Of course he is.
What?
There he goes. There's Homer.
The disorganization.
And click the profile URL too. We should be able to also get into the profile of the GitHub account too.
Yeah, so we got a couple of link URLs.
What's my
there.
top project?
Projects.
Yep.
I love it.
All right. Hectic.
So I noticed it said email not displayed. Did you guys hard code that in, or is it just like by chance that those?
That's the GitHub API. When it said that my account has email private. And you cannot access private data without authentication.
Okay.
When you're doing a standard user search. So any account that you look up where the account user doesn't want that information displayed, it won't display because the API doesn't have the authorization to pull up private data.
So it just checks to see if it's an empty value. If it's empty, then it'll just say not displayed in the conditional.
And that's pretty much what we created.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Spencer?
Yeah, so what third party, you need the GitHub app, obviously, but beyond that, what do you need to access all that stuff?
Axios. We used
We used
React
Axios.
Axios?
Yep.
Okay, and Axios is?
It is a library that makes it super duper simple to grab.
Pretty much data from every different website.
So this is basically, it's one async call. If you happen to work with APIs frequently and use JavaScript or React, something you probably want to look into because that's basically all of it.
So then it's Axios access via React?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So React's got its own Axios package.
Cool. I was wondering, so what was the bug exactly? Wouldn't you be able to just use your state to put an input and then change it dynamically?
that's what we were kind of trying to
That's
do.
what our problem was.
So we had a separate component for a search form. Maybe we could have just put it on the front page and called it a day, but what we were trying to figure out was, and you can see kind of the code is in place, we wanted to figure out how do we grab, and now, actually, I think I know what might be going on, but
It was right there on search form on click.
it's on submit because it's just trying, because it doesn't know what E is.
Now, who decided to set that as a backlog item, to put that on hold and keep moving forward?
Eventually I did probably too.
Okay, that was a smart idea, because you guys were able to keep moving forward and building, and then you can come back and try to figure that out.
We started out like the first group with planning,
Right,
and then
right.
finally we said, well, none of us really know how to use the API. There's only 2 people here that know web development, and only one of them had a computer that they could use at the time. So we had to get something going.
Yeah, very good.
And we figured that it's better to actually get one thing going and add on, instead of make a huge plan and fail at everything.
Ooh.
Hey.
I feel attacked.
No,
Go on.
no,
That was not an attack.
fail at everything. You guys just didn't implement.
Hey, you got
the
Spencer taking off his shirt. Calm down.
Whereas for us, we didn't have enough people that are knowledgeable about web development. It was all Julian and Robin here for all of the.
And it was your idea to come up with the data.
Well, but that was just a little bit.
It was teamwork. We get it. It was teamwork.
So you guys are the ones that you guys were the ones that were pulling the engine of the train. I mean, you were the ones that were carrying the weight, and if we had tried to do too much, we just didn't have the resources. And the biggest problem is it's not that nobody in our group knows anything, but we all come from a hugely different background. And we couldn't tie anything together. We had people with C++ and Java and JavaScript and Python. And okay, so we can do this in something, but how do we tie it together? And if you don't have the practice doing that, then it becomes a real challenge to figure out how to do with people you've just met in a 4-hour time frame, and to have something that actually is presentable.
Very good.
Nice job.
Anyone else? Okay. So it is 7:52. We should have finished at 7:30. So that I had time to look at the scores.
I know, I was teasing.
So you guys have the option of sticking around. We do have one JetBrains license to give out. Oh Lord. We have one JetBrains license to give out. Just like last time. Jen, you want to tell us what the instructions are? No, she doesn't. Okay. So we're gonna have you guys take pictures in front of our backdrop. You guys need to tag him appropriately, right? Jen will put the hashtags that we need to use in the general chat. The whole point of this, guys, is to get more people to come to these. These are more fun if we can get more people to show up, right?
Yes.
More variety as far as technologies and so on. So that's the whole goal. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to disclose, because I want you guys to know that your work isn't just you wasting time. This is going to help us moving forward with a project that we want to work on for IESD for all of you guys. You guys have heard before that we talk to people that are looking for developers, and we find it difficult to go out on Slack and say, hey, who has these skills? Like, who has this experience? So we do want to have some sort of repository where you guys put up all your skills, your information, and so on, and this is a step in that direction. Okay, so you guys already came up with designs, you guys came up with ways to tackle the whole API, so you guys have moved us forward a big leap already, right? So we appreciate you guys' help on that, and moving forward, that's kind of what hack days are for, right? Solving problems. That's the problem you guys were solving today. So now, did you guys put your scores on your repositories for the tasks that? No? Oh, that's wonderful. What happened?
1 million.
1 million, wonderful. Okay, so here's the thing, because I don't want to.
That's our score. We're team 500 points now.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
We also need to rate
No.
on humility, right?
No. So here's how it's gonna happen. Because I don't want to keep you guys too late. So again, you guys can take pictures, network, get snacks, keep hanging around. In the meantime, I will go ahead, look at the repositories, tally up the scores, and then I will send them out to you guys. Okay? This time it will be easier because I don't really have to judge anything, right? I just look at your scores from what you guys presented, go off of that. Okay? So any questions? No? Okay.
When?
Tonight.
Oh, yeah, the
I have to do that tonight.
Like in 15
Yeah.
minutes.
No, not 15 minutes. Calm down. Yeah.
We gotta give him a minute to
Well, you said you're just
We gotta
gonna
give
go in
him.
and see
Let's
what
give
the
him a minute to
scores we gave
breathe.
ourselves.
Jeez, look at that. I gave him 4 hours. He wants to give me 15 minutes. Okay, but yeah, so make sure you guys take pictures so we can try getting more people in here. And again, we have 1 license to give out.
Anyway, we can wait till like Sunday in case a team didn't put their points.
Well, I'm still gonna go through the repositories. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, you're not disqualified because you didn't put your points in there. That's fine.
I'm just saying teams. I wasn't speaking about it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But anyways, thank you guys so much for showing up. You guys showing up helps a lot, right? We have people that are interested in helping us out, other organizations, but if we don't have people showing up, there's no reason they should help out, right?
Amen.
So anyways, thank you for showing up. So thank you.